Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? Alright, let's get it out of the way. I like this show. You guys may hate how it's going right now. I understand. Trust me, I will be reading up on it and seeing just how they're butchering this show to such the big population of people that wanted to see it go in the right direction because somehow, some way, the hate and the love always gets out to these videos, and I don't know why, but I'm thinking I do at the same time. There's very passionate people on this show, and with all that being said, let's get right into it. This week starts us off with our boy and Zero, not actually there, but with her robot. I think her robot's one or like three or something. Her robot has a number, I'm pretty sure. So I didn't notice in the beginning of like the opening song that all the numbers and stuff of the characters, they're all pretty much just there, you know? So, or of her different types of like stuff she has is what she numbers. So, for instance, her headphones had a number. So she's zero, and then everything I'm guessing she created with her ability maybe became the other numbered stuff. So, excuse me. That was pretty cool. Um, but other than that, we see him just pretty much chilling in the world, trying to, I guess, get food and actually seeing the show progress from one episode to another, where they actually show us that the content is still there, or not the content, but that when something happens one day, it still continues over to the next. And what our girl did last week was spend a lot of money on marshmallows, and because of it, they were broke. And now this week, they literally were out in the most dangerous place just hunting for food. So, yeah, that's how powerful this man is, even when he just needs to eat instead of going out and trying to harvest in, the forest of our normal places that are charted. He goes to an uncharted place that has the most dangerous monsters and stuff, which makes sense because he literally lived here with his teacher. And to think that we still haven't even heard what has occurred with him, or even maybe what's popped off, is kind of troublesome for me. Like, it feels like something we should have learned quite a while ago, but it's just something that is eluding our main character from telling anyone, so he doesn't really have a real reason. Like, for instance, the cats were a reasoning for him to even talk about his first pet. So, what could be a reason for him to actually talk about his master's passing, or even just his master kind of leaving him, or maybe he leaving his master's, vice versa? You know what I mean? So, but from the opening and the endings, and like just from whatever I've seen of him reaching out towards his teacher, seems like he wouldn't be the one to leave him in such a manner. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. It feels right, but at the same time, it feels like it could go any direction, really, because all we know from what we've seen is he made a really bad choice, and his teacher knew already it was a bad choice, but because he was so passionate and because he loved the cat that he had so much, his teacher was willing to look past the point of if it took any blood, it would get ridiculously overpowered. And, well, not overpowered, but it would just get way stronger than this guy would ever expect. So to think that that was the case, and he just still allowed him to live his life and you know adopt this pet, we kind of see this where if he sees people that he knows has suffered a great loss of some type, he just has true pity. He probably knows how it feels, it seems like, and that's why I feel like the whole teacher thing is eluding us, because as soon as it comes down to like death and people losing certain stuff, he's always really helpful and wanting to be, by people's sides at that point. But in the other case, he doesn't really open up or need anyone else's help. So I don't know. I'm really really interested in seeing where that goes. I mean, he has Zero now to be with him and stuff, but at the same time, she's still like, she's still a kid, and from whatever she's gone through, we still haven't really learned that either. We saw a glimpse of her being in a place where she was like seemingly a slave or like traded or something, So it's already a pretty dark, grim story for both of them, and we haven't really learned anything in the slightest about him. So seeing him foraging for food and running into a guy who pretty much has been living in this place trying to revenge his daughter, I think he kind of saw a little bit of himself maybe in this guy, and he really, every time he was in a position to pretty much be taken out by this man, he was going to allow it because like I said, it felt like he could understand where this guy was coming from. It felt like he was there before. He was in this type of pain, agony, and he could understand it. So, from my understanding, that just might be the case. And if it is, it makes sense because of how he carries himself, and the reason why he helps people when he wants to help them is because they probably felt the same type of loss as him, or they're about to feel the loss, so he tries to go out and prevent them from feeling such pain. But at the same time, he doesn't carry himself as a character who cares about that. And that's what I think is really appealing about his actual overall characters and his art, is he doesn't necessarily show his emotion. He doesn't show that he cares about anything. He just is him, and he's been through whatever he's been through, and that's why he is the way he is. So all of that being said, he pretty much watches somebody who's trying to, do his own revenge. He's trying to make an amends of what he couldn't do or what he should have done earlier by seeing his past and shooting the monster in one of its eyes and then just, dropping the ball and not finishing the monster. So it already seems like we can put an easy narrative to where he's blaming himself. I mean, to be fair, the eyeball wasn't even, he knew the eyeball was something that wasn't going to stop it. That's why he didn't shoot it in the other eye this week. I think he wanted to allow the monster to see the person who killed it. And that's pretty, some deep insight on myself that I'm looking at this from a different angle. Um, but with that being said, I truly think that because he saw, the monster coming at him the way it was, and that it practically remembered him, or they both want revenge on each other. It was a one-on-one fight, and to think that this guy who has been pointed a gun at twice and could have died by this guy, he still comes in and helps him. Why? It's because of all the things I've been talking about earlier. I believe he knows this, and he felt all of the stuff this man's gone through. Hence why he's at the coffee shop at the very end, and he gives him the necklace. He tells him he was trying to make coffee. He didn't help this man even to his own coffee shop because he knew that would probably damage his pride at any rate. Um, but I think maybe seeing him there, he might have an idea that he was helped a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised at that fact. But, whew, man, this is what I was looking forward to. Trying to just get a glimpse of what kind of character we're dealing with here. Because every time we see him, it feels like we should know something about him, but we really don't. And we're on what, 8 episodes already, and this thing's about to be over. So it's like, what have we learned about him that we can actually, put down on paper? And it's not a lot. So, with all that being said, though, it was a fun ride to see him trip up a monster just so much that even an old sniper who's been beaten and battered in this battle could still hit the shot that there was only the little bit of no armor covering, which was inside of its mouth, outside of the back of its neck. So pretty dope how it ended, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see quite a bit more of what's his face now. We're going to see a lot more of this character's emotions maybe, but not next week. It looks like we're going with Zero with a whole bunch of characters we've already met, and they're going to the island without our main guy. So we'll see how this plays out. I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be, and I will talk to you in the next one. Peace.